What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, legendary, former 5-division world champion, former pound-for-pound king, former pay-per-view king, the man known as Money, Floyd Money Mayweather. He will be having an exhibition bout with YouTube sensation Logan Paul this Sunday in Miami, Florida. With that said, Floyd Mayweather, he held a press conference today to promote the fight. And Floyd Mayweather was asked about his rival in legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, facing off against young, undefeated, unified WBC, WBA, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer who is widely considered by many to be top 3 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, in Errol the True Spence Jr., in which we know Floyd Mayweather, it was an ongoing 5-year rival, to say the least, as to anticipated fight. And it turned out to be the biggest fight in the history of sport of boxing between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. But it was 5 years, you know, the anticipation, the build-up. There was a lot of going back and forth, so on and such. Manny Pacquiao, today's time, 42 years of age, stands at 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. The last time we saw him in the ring was July of 2019 when he took on and defeated then undefeated former unified WBC, WBA welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, in which Manny Pacquiao, he got a split decision victory over Keith Thurman. But with that said, Manny Pacquiao, he dropped Keith Thurman in the first round. He badly hurt Keith Thurman in the 10th round. Looked like he could have been on the verge of stopping Keith Thurman. And now he's going into a showdown with Errol Spence Jr., who's 31 years old, stands at 5'9" and a half with a 72-inch arm reach. The last time we saw him in the ring was more recent, December 5th of 2020, when he took on and defeated 2-division world champion superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia, and he did so beating Danny Garcia in dramatic fashion, unanimous decision. With that said, he's going into the showdown with Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence. They're both southpaws. The difference is Errol Spence is 11 years younger than Manny Pacquiao. Errol Spence is bigger than Manny Pacquiao. He's going to have nearly a 5-inch height advantage over Manny Pacquiao. He's going to have a 5-inch arm reach advantage over Manny Pacquiao. And he's going to have 11-year age advantage over Manny Pacquiao. And he's the bigger, stronger guy. With that said, you cannot never count out Manny Pacquiao. He's fought the best of the best. He's a legend within the sport of boxing. He knows what it takes. He's been on this stage 10 times over. This is just another day at the office for Manny Pacquiao. But Floyd Mayweather, who defeated Manny Pacquiao via unanimous decision after the build-up, after Manny Pacquiao was seen as the guy to dethrone Floyd Mayweather and put a blemish on his resume, it turned out to be not the best fight in the world, not the most entertaining fight in the world, but it was definitely the biggest fight in the history of sport of boxing, lucrative-wise. And so he stated today he's going to absolutely make sure Errol Spence is victorious against Manny Pacquiao. And he stated he's always got to look out for, his culture first. And he says that because of that, he's going to make sure Errol Spence is the victor. And he stated that he's going to give Errol Spence some tips. He wants to help Errol Spence prepare and train for Manny Pacquiao. Now, we know Floyd Mayweather, recently he stated that it's no walk in the park to be very, very careful because Manny Pacquiao is still a very, 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 very risky fight. Okay, even at the tender age, or should I say the late age of 42. So he let it be known that Manny Pacquiao is a very tricky fight. He also let it be known to Keith Thurman, ahead of Keith Thurman's fight with Manny Pacquiao, it's a very tricky fight. Manny Pacquiao has 70-plus fights in his career. And like I said, he's fought Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer in his career, win, lose, or draw. Okay? And so Floyd Mayweather is saying you have to be very, very careful when it comes to Manny Pacquiao. But there is holes. There is a way to beat Manny Pacquiao. After Floyd Mayweather's fight with Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, he stated, Manny Pacquiao, he understands why he's so great. Manny Pacquiao, 62 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. 3 times in his career he was knocked out. Two times very, very early in his career. The last time when he fought Juan Manuel Marquez when he was brutally knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez. That was back in 2012. Okay, prior to that, he was outboxed by Floyd Mayweather, Eric Morales. Those are 5 losses. Then he has the loss to Timothy Bradley that was unwarranted. Most people thought, including myself, that Manny Pacquiao should have got the nod. That was the first fight. They ended up fighting a total of 3 fights. Manny Pacquiao won the last 2. Then he lost to Jeff Horn, unanimous decision. And clearly, I thought that Manny Pacquiao won that fight as well, but he didn't get the nod. So that equals his 7 losses, okay? And then he has a few draws. The first fight with Manuel Marquez ended in a draw. A fight with Sanchez back in 2001 that ended in a draw. So he has a few draws, few blemishes on his resume, to say the least. But like I said, he's the smaller guy. He's the older guy in this fight. And it's going to be a very, very interesting fight. Manny Pacquiao believes that his speed, his angles, is going to be key against Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence, 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 21 wins by way of knockout. As I stated, he's 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach, and he's 31 years of age. So with that said, Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao has more knockouts than Errol Spence has total fights. Okay, so that speaks for itself. The experience part on the part of Manny Pacquiao. So Floyd Mayweather says he's very, very tricky. You cannot look past him, but he's going to give Errol Spence the tips and the jewels he needs to beat and make sure he's victorious against Manny Pacquiao. Now, Errol Spence, he has a Hall of Fame trainer, a legendary trainer, and well-renowned trainer, Derrick James, who's trainer of the year. He has 2 unified world champions. He also trains 2-time junior middleweight world champion, who's going into an undisputed showdown July 17th in Jamel Lyons Only Charlo. So he has, a pedigree, to say the least, Derrick James. So, Errol Spence, he discussed, the possibility of bringing in different sparring partners to help prepare himself for Manny Pacquiao. And with that said, he says that it's very, very difficult to bring in fighters to absolutely duplicate that of what Manny Pacquiao brings to the table. Okay, he says that he's going to, definitely, take this fight absolutely serious. This is the biggest fight Errol Spence's career. This is a legacy fight for Errol Spence. It's a lucrative fight. It's a transcendent fight for Errol Spence, because him beating a legend in Manny Pacquiao is going to speak volumes, even at this advanced age in Manny Pacquiao's career. Now, would it do the same thing it would have done for his career 5 years ago? Not the same thing, but it definitely is going to, allow him to draw fans that he wouldn't normally have paying attention to his fights. Okay, it's going to introduce him to a whole different demographic of fan base. So, especially if he wins this fight in dramatic fashion. So, with that said, Floyd Mayweather, he clearly outboxed Manny Pacquiao, and everybody said the fight happened 5 years too late. Well, the fact is, Floyd Mayweather is 2 years older than Manny Pacquiao. So if it was too late for anybody, it would have been too late for Floyd Mayweather. Then we had the ending, the conclusion of the fight, where Manny Pacquiao said he just wasn't himself because he had hurt his shoulder. He wasn't, healthy in the fight, and he couldn't use his right arm, so on and so forth. Floyd Mayweather was completely, flabbergasted at the fact that Manny Pacquiao would say such a thing. When Floyd Mayweather completely outclassed Manny Pacquiao, that's the truth. And also, Manny Pacquiao is known to be outboxed. Errol Spence is a very, very versatile fighter. He can box from the outside. He can box in mid-range. He has a beautiful jab, one of the best jabs in the sport of boxing. He knows how to control distance. He knows how to control range. And obviously, he has power. And he's back with a strength and condition coach, in which he looked absolutely great against Chris Algieri, Lamont Peterson, those fights. That's he's getting back with a strength and conditioning coach. Obviously, we know Errol Spence, he suffered a horrific car accident just 12 days after unifying the titles against 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Sean Porter. That was September 28th. Then October 10th, he suffered the horrific car accident. So now he came back. He bought 14-month layoff. He boxed Danny Garcia and dominated Danny Garcia, who was a Hall of Famer in his own right. and now he's back with a strength and conditioning coach, preparing to have, you know, a beautiful performance, okay, to have a showcase performance, to truly introduce himself to a whole different demographic of fan base, okay. And like I said, this is going to transcend him into a different category should he beat Manny Pacquiao. And obviously he has 2 legacy fights on his hands, because this fight is a legacy fight, and obviously the biggest fight in the sport of boxing is himself versus undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 pound-for-pound fight in the world, in Terrence Bud Crawford. So that is the biggest fight. And now it looks like the WBA is going to reinstate Manny Pacquiao, as his 2-year layoff and inactivity saw the WBA strip him of the belt. Not strip him, but they put him as champion recess. And it's widely speculated that they're going to reinstate him going into this fight with Errol Spence. So this is a unification bout. So Errol Spence beats Manny Pacquiao. Well, then guess what? Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford has gotten even bigger, because now it would be for undisputed. And we know this fight should be even easier to make, seeing as though Terrence Crawford is a free agent in October, and all signs lead to Terrence Crawford exiting Top Rank with legendary promoter, Top Rank CEO Bob Arum. So it looks like he's going to exit stage left from Top Rank, so it should be that much easier to make this fight, depending upon what network and who Terrence Crawford decides to sign with. So let's see how this unfolds. But Floyd Mayweather says he's going to give Errol Spence the blueprint to assure himself victory over Manny Pacquiao. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
It is your boy Jada Kiss. Make sure you check out Blue Blood Sports TV. It's going down.